KSJE and the Farmington Public Library present Cuentos Hahne and Tales.
Hello, my name is Ray and I'm a youth services technician at the Farmington Public Library. Today, I'll be reading several stories from our Pika book collection. The first book I'm going to read is called Miss Nelson is Missing by Harry Allard and James Marshall. The kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitball stuck to the ceiling. Paper planes whizzed through the air. They were the worst misbehaved class in the whole school. "Now settle down," said Miss Nelson in a sweet voice. But the class would not settle down. They whispered and giggled. They squirmed and made faces. They were even rude during story hour. And they always refused to do their lesson. "Something will have to be done," said Miss Nelson. The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. "Wow!" yelled the kids. "Now we can really act up." They began to make more spitballs and paper planes. "Today, let's just be terrible," they said. "Not so fast," hissed an unpleasant voice. A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them. "I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp." And she rapped the desk with the ruler. "Where's Miss Nelson?" asked the kids. "Never mind that," snapped Miss Swamp. "Open those arithmetic books." Miss Nelson's kids did as they were told. They could see that Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Right away, she put them to work, and she loaded them with homework. "We'll have no story hour today," said Miss Swamp. "Keep your mouth shut," she said, "and sit perfectly still. And if you misbehave, you'll be sorry," said Miss Swamp. The kids in room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by, and there was no sign of Miss Nelson. The kids missed Miss Nelson. "Maybe we should try to find her," they said. Some of them went to the police. Detective McSmog was assigned to the case. He listened to their story. He scratched his chin. He said. "I think Miss Nelson is missing." Detective Smog would not be much help. Other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. The shades were tightly drawn, and no one answered the door. In fact, the only person they did see was the wicked Miss Viola Swamp coming up the street. "If she sees us, she'll give us more homework." They got away just in time. "Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson." "Oh, maybe she was gobbled up by a shark," said one of the kids. But that didn't seem likely. "Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars," said another kid. But that didn't seem likely either. "I know!" exclaimed one know-it-all. "Maybe Miss Nelson's car was carried off by a swarm of angry butterflies." But that was the least likely of all. The kids in room 207 became very discouraged. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never going back, and they would be stuck with Miss Viola Swamp forever. Then they heard footsteps in the hall. "Here comes the witch," they whispered. "Hello, children," someone said in a sweet voice. It was Miss Nelson. "Did you miss me?" she asked. "We certainly did," cried all the kids. "Where were you?" "That's my little secret," said Miss Nelson. How was How about a story hour?" "Oh, yes," cried the kids. Miss Nielsen noticed that during story hour, no one was rude or silly. "What brought about this lovely change?" she asked. "That's our secret," said the kids. Back home, Miss Nielsen took off her coat and hung it in the closet right next to an ugly black dress. When it was time for bed, she sang a little song. "I'll never tell," she said to herself with a smile. P.S. Detective McSmog is working on a new case. He is now looking for Miss Viola's swamp. The end. And that book was called Miss Nielsen is Missing. The next book I'm going to read is called Miss Nielsen is Back by Harry Allard and James Marshall. One Friday, Miss Nielsen told her class that she was going to have her tonsils out. "I'll be away next week," she said, "and I expect you to behave." "Yes, Miss Nielsen," said the kids in room 207. But at recess, it was another story. "Wow," said the kids. "Well, Miss Nielsen is away, we can really act up." "Not so fast," said a big kid from room 309. "Haven't you heard of Viola's swamp?" "Who?" said Miss Nielsen's kids. "Miss Swamp is the meanest substitute in the whole world," said the big kid. "No one acts up when she's around." "Oh," said Miss Nielsen's kid. "She's a real witch," said the big kid. "Oh," said Miss Nielsen's kids. "I'll just bet you get the swamp," said the big kid. On Monday morning, Miss Nielsen's kids were all in their seats. They were very nervous. Some of them had not slept well all weekend. "If we get the swamp, I'll just die," said one kid. They heard footsteps in the hall. Slowly, the knob turned, and the door opened. It was Mr. Blansworth, the principal. "I shall personally take over the class," he said. Miss Nielsen's kids were so relieved. But they soon learned that Mr. Blansworth was not a lot of fun. All morning, Mr. Blansworth tried to amuse the class with his corny card tricks. "Oh, brother," said the class. That afternoon, Mr. Blansworth showed the class his favorite shadow pictures. "This is kid stuff," said the class. The next day, Mr. Blansworth demonstrated his favorite bird call. They were not a success. And for 2 days, Mr. Blansworth showed slides of his goldfish, Lucille. Miss Nielsen's kids had never been so bored. While dusting erasers in the schoolyard, 3 of the ringleaders of 207 discussed the situation. "Something will have to be done," they said. "We must get rid of Blansworth." And they hatched a plot. After school, they painted and sewed and borrowed some old clothes. And they practiced some very difficult stunt work in the backyard. The next day, they weren't in class. "That's too bad," said Mr. Blansworth. "They'll miss all the excitement." Mr. Blansworth was about to show the class his collection of ballpoint pens from all over the world when someone came to the door. Slowly the knob turned, and the door opened. "Oh, look," said the class. "Miss Nielsen's back." A tall and lumpy Miss Nielsen tottered into the room. Mr. Blansworth was surprised. "You're back sooner than we expected," he said. The tall and lumpy Miss Nielsen didn't speak. Said the kids. "Her throat must still be sore." "Are you sure you're well enough?" said Mr. Blansworth. "She's sure," said the kids. "Well, in that case," said the principal, "I'll be getting back to the office. Nice to have you back, Miss Nielsen." And he left the room. "Hot dog!" cried the class. "We got rid of Blansworth. Now, We can do just as we please. And at the stroke of 10, the kids from room 207 left the building. No one stopped them. They went straight to the movies where they saw The Monster That Ate Chicago twice. That is really living, they said. Afterwards, they went to Lulu's where they stuffed themselves silly. But soon, they made a serious mistake. Heading back to school, they passed Miss Nelson's house. Miss Nelson couldn't believe her eyes. "Those are my kids," she said in a scratchy voice. "What are they doing out of school? And who is that with them?" Miss Nelson telephoned Mr. Blandsworth to see what was going on. "You're not Miss Nelson," said Mr. Blandsworth. "Miss Nelson is back." And he hung up. "Can't fool me," he said. Said Miss Nelson. "Something will have to be done." And she went for her closet. Back in 207, Miss Nelson's kids were spending an agreeable afternoon. They were very pleased with themselves. "We should do this more often," they said. They did not notice that the figure out in the hall. Slowly the knob turned, and the door opened. "My name is Viola Swamp," said the lady in a scratchy voice. "That's right," said Miss Swamp. "I'm here to whip this class into shape. Get back in those desks on the double." The class did as it was told. The big kid from 309 was certainly right. Miss Swamp was a real witch. She knew how to get results. The class did a whole week's work in no time. "We shouldn't have gotten rid of Mr. Blandsworth," they said. "Pipe down," said the Swamp. "Or—" Just then, something under the desk attracted her attention. It was a mask. "Aha!" said Miss Swamp. "So that's your little game." And she tried on the mask, just as Mr. Blandsworth stepped into the room. "Miss Nelson," said Mr. Blandsworth, I'm of the option that someone has been impersonating you." "Oh," whispered the kids. "You don't say," said Miss Swamp. "Probably just some kids acting up. I'm sure it won't happen again." And Mr. Blandsworth left. "And it won't, will it?" said Miss Swamp to the class. "Because the swamp will be watching." A minute later, Miss Nelson appeared. "I'm back," she said. "Hot dog!" cried the kids. "Are we glad to see you?" "Didn't you have fun with Mr. Blandsworth?" asked Miss Nelson. Said the kids. They decided not to mention Miss Viola Swamp, but they wondered why Miss Nelson hadn't seen her in the hall. The end. And that was called Miss Nelson is Back. The next book I'm going to read is called The Monster Who Lost His Mane by Tiffany Haber. Monsters are a spooky bunch, a scary, hairy group. They run in packs, leave giant tracks, and dine on eyeball soup. One day, a monster's M went missing, gone without a trace, and every M is custom made, the kind you can't replace. So now he's just the onster, and the teasing never ends. Not only has he lost his mane, he lost his monster friends. Boom, boom, crunch, crunch. The onster sits alone for lunch. Boo-hoo, sigh, sigh. The onster sad starts to cry. "I'm nothing since I lost my mane," he sobs into his stew. "I've got to find that M, or else it's goodbye monster crew." The onster's tears fell through all his sheets and peeked beneath his bed, explores around the playground, and picks apart his shed. He empties every garbage can in all of Monsterwood. He even checks the engine under every monster's hood. Nothing, nada, not a trace. He hangs his hairy head. Without my M, I'm not myself. I'm someone else instead. He can't be mean to human kids, so why not help them with chores? Sweeping, heaping, light housekeeping, organizing drawers. He joins in all their soccer games and rules at basketball. He doesn't seem to miss that missing M so much at all. I'm having tons of fun, he laughs, returning from a swim. But then he hears some other monster making fun of him. The onster feels embarrassed. He sees their point of view. I really need to stop this stuff and do what monsters do. Maybe I'll pretend I mean. I bet it's not that hard. Perhaps I'll pull the flowers out of Miss Power's yard. He stares at all the roses, at their stunning shades of red, but just can't bear to harm them. So he waters them instead. The onster thinks, I'll throw some eggs at Mr. Lander's van, but winds up cooking brunch for the entire Lander clan. I'm way too nice without my M. My monster's day are through. I just don't fit in Monsterwood. I'm not sure what to do. He sadly heads on home again with teardrops in his eye. He swings his front door open and is greeted with surprise! A party in his honor. The onster's eyes grew wide. His name and picture covered every empty space inside. I'm not a monster after all, the onsters comprehend. I may have lost my M, but then I found amazing friends. Boom, boom, pow, pow. The onsters wave and takes a bow. Let's have 3 cheers. Hip, hip, hooray! He's happier in every way. The end. And that was called The Monster Who Lost His Me. The next book I'm going to read is called Llama Llama, Mad at Mama by Anna Dewdney. Llama Llama having fun, blocks and puzzles in the sun. Time to shop, it's Saturday. Llama Llama wants to play. First a shopping, then a treat. Mama Llama gets a seat. Llama dreaming in the car. Wake up, here we are. Great big buildings, great big signs, lots of aisles, lots of lines. Llama Llama out with Mama, shopping at the Shop-O-Rama. Yucky music, great big feet, ladies smelling way too sweet. Look at knees and stand in line. Llama Llama starts to whine. Clearance sales and discount buys. What is little llama's size? Try it on, take it off, pull and wiggle, itch and cough. Shirts and jackets, pants and shoes. Does this sweater come in blue? Brand new socks and underwear? Llama Llama does not care. Cheesy puffs and oaty crunch. What would Llama like for lunch? Llama Llama doesn't know. Llama Llama wants to go. Loaf of bread and cream of wheat. Llama Llama wants his treat. It's no fun at Shop-O-Rama. Llama Llama mad at Mama. Flying pasta, spraying juice, paper towel rolling loose, coffee, bread, and chips galore. Shoes and sweater hits the floor. Crashed the cart and smashed the sign. No more waiting, no more lines. Out go socks and cheesy puffs. Llama Llama, that's enough. Please stop fussing, little llama. No more of this llama drama. I think shopping's boring too, but at least I'm here with you. Let's see if we can make this fun and get the llama shopping done. Let's be a team at Shop-O-Rama. Llama Llama shops with Mama. Sweep up pasta, mop up juice, wrap up towels, rolling loose. Pick up puffs and find the sock. Put the shoes back in the box. Push the cart with Mama Llama. Almost done at Shop-O-Rama. Time to leave, the shopping's done. No more waiting, time for fun. Out to parking, not too far. Where did Mama leave the car? Snap the buckle, grab the box, put on brand new shoes and socks. Say goodbye to Shop-O-Rama. Llama loves his mama. The end. And those are all the books that I will be reading today. Again, the first book I read is called Miss Nelson is Missing. The second one is Miss Nelson is Back, both written by Harry Allard and James Marshall. The next book I read is called The Monster Who Lost His Mane by Tiffany Haber, and Llama Mad at Mama by Anna Dewdney. For more information for our upcoming events, you can visit our website at www.infoway.org. Thank you.
This has been Cuentos Hahne and Tales, presented by the Farmington Public Library and KSJE 90.9 FM.